Boys and girls, today we're learning our very first letter. This year we're going to learn all of the letters of the alphabet. There are 26 of them. We've been singing our ABCs. The A is the first letter of the alphabet. Z is the last letter. Every letter has a capital and a lowercase, and letters have sounds. Letters are for reading. Today, the first letter that we're going to learn is the letter C. Everybody say that with me, C. Some letters, the capital letter looks just like the lowercase letter, and some letters look totally different. Let me show you. The capital O looks just like the lowercase o, just one is tall and one is small. But the capital R looks very different from the lowercase r. But they are the same letter. So today we're going to learn the letter C, and guess what? They look the same. The capital C is one big curve, and the lowercase c is one little curve. And C says K. C says K, like cat. Hello, meow. C says K. C says K. Can you say that with me? C says K. C says K, like k, k, cat. Do we have any friends that start with that sound? K, k, k. Cash? Yeah. Now let's learn how to write the letter C. Remember, if you want to start a letter, then you better remember to start it at the top. Like our lowercase c. Ready? It's just smaller. C says K. C says K. All right, this is our letter wall. Look, everything all about the letter C. Does anybody know what this says? Pop. That is pop. You're right. What kind of pop is that? It's Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola begins with the letter C. Let's find out some other words that begin with that sound. K, k. We have a k, cat, k, cookie, k, car, and k, cow. They all begin with C. That letter makes the sound k, k, k. This week you're going to be practicing the C with me at the letter table. You're going to love it. Wait till you see all of the fun things that you get to do at our letter table. So when you go to our letter table, you can sit down at one of these trays and try it, and whenever you're finished, you can move to a different spot at the table and try as many of them as you want. So the first one, we're tracing the letter C, and it's actually bumpy, so remember to start at the top. When you're at this table, if you forget what the letter is, you can press one of these buttons. There will always be a couple there.
C says K.
Oh yeah, it's the letter C. C says K. Now when you're at this table, I really would love to hear you saying that out loud. As you trace this and you feel the bumpiness, you're going to say, C says K. C says K. And remember, you have to start at the top. If you want to start a letter, then you better remember to start it at the top. C says K. So that's how you do this tray. Let's check out the next one. You're going to put these screws into the letter C as you say, C says K. C says K. Now, let me tell you your job. After you finish this, your job is to take them all out so the next friend has an empty tray to work with, okay? So you put all the screws in and then make sure that you take them out before you leave this tray. All right, friends, I know you've loved learning about cutting this week. So you have a letter puzzle. So first you have to take these crayons and color the letter C, and then you're going to cut on the dotted lines. You're going to cut it up. You're going to try to put it back together when you're finished. Now, after you put it together, you can take one of these baggies and put all the pieces in there and take it home and try it again at home. Here's another one of those buttons if you forget the letter.
C says K.
C says K. And on this tracing board, you're going to trace the letter C and then try making it. C says K. C says K. And then there's a lowercase c, it's smaller. C says K. C says K. C says K. Then you can try making this word that starts with C, cat. Next, this is one of my favorites. You're going to be writing in sand. Now, this is the most important thing. This sand is not to play with. You're not picking it up and playing with it. If you want to play like that, you can go to our sensory table. This sand is for writing, and you're going to use your pencil. Everybody show me this. This is your pencil. That's the only thing that touches the sand. You're going to shake the tray just a little bit. It stays on the tray, and you shake it a little bit to erase it, and then use your pencil. C says K. Shake it to erase it. C says K. So the only thing that's touching the sand is my one finger. We have another letter puzzle. So this one's all mixed up and you're going to try to put it back together. This one stays at school on this tray. So this one you're just mixing up. When you're done, mix it up for the next person. This is a sand card and it feels really scratchy. You're going to touch it and say the letter. C says K. C says K. And lastly, we have I spy the letter C. Here's our big C card to remind you the letter that you're working on. And you're going to use Play-Doh to make little Play-Doh balls to cover all of the C's. Let me show you. So you're just going to take a little pinch and you're going to roll it into a ball. And when you find a letter C, you're going to put that ball on there. Wait till you hear the best part though. Let's fill up all of the C's with these little balls. After you fill up and find all of the C's, then you get to press them in like a button. Ready? C says K. C says K. Okay, now remember, Play-Doh dries out, so you can't leave those on there. When you're all finished, put them back in the jar and make sure the lid gets put back on top.